tall players, whereas Terry Butcher probably, particularly with Brian Robson there, back there in our studio, and you can see, looks like a bit of blood, doesn't it, on the arm of Terry Butcher. There's where it happens. Looked like the back of the Sweden player's head that caught him. But Terry Butcher really is our key player in defence and attack, really, in the end. No one particularly, as I say, with Brian Robson out, is very good in the air, so we don't want to concede too many set pieces. Let's hope he's going to be okay.
While you're talking there, the Swedish coach, Ollie Nordin, really breaking the FIFA rules. He's got the whole team over the other side of the pitch, giving them a little lecture by the bench there, Trevor. The referee's now spotted it and waved them back.
I think Paul Parker's just warming up on the touchline there, over the back there, but hopefully it's not as serious as that, particularly with Terry Butcher being given the honour of captaining his side. He's a very patriotic player, and he wouldn't want to miss this one.
No, 26 minutes gone. We're stopped here for an injury to the England captain and number 6. On that point of Paul Parker, he was picked as the defensive substitute because he can cover all back four positions, in preference, that is, to Tony Adams, who's also with the party. But Butcher's been bandaged up by Fred Street and Norman Medhurst. So we've seen centre-backs with headbands before, and Terry's going to soldier on, and you can see some blood around there. He's had a nasty facial injury before in his career when he was with Ipswich, in fact a very serious one, so that by comparison will be almost minor, I would think. But anyway, let's hope it doesn't unsettle him too much. Walker on the ball. Anybody who's coming in and just joining the match at this minute, 27.5 minutes gone in the first half. Sweden 0, England 0. England perhaps with the two biggest threats on goal so far. Lineker crowded out and McMahon just over the bar. Hussein with the header. 10 against Barnes. And then Pearce in strongly. The other England substitutes, for those of you who weren't with us at the start, apart from Paul Parker, are goalkeeper David Seaman, midfield men David Rocastle and Paul Gascoigne, and striker Alan Smith. Those were the 5 that Bobby Robson selected after training today. There's Butcher, and here's Lineker, being shadowed by Peter Larsson. Enquist, Roland Nielsen, looking for Ekstrom. Flags up. Ball was out. Johnny Ekstrom, a player who's done well in the past against England, but he's not had the best of times club-wise the last year or two. Didn't have a very good spell at Bayern Munich, and he's now moved on to Cannes in France. Here's Peter Larsson, who plays for Ajax. And John Barnes gets the free kick. This is Stevens. Webb, Waddle. Again, the flank is pretty well closed off by Swedish defenders, which has been the pattern on both sides of the field up to now. So Pearce looks for Beardsley, and that was sliced by Roland Nielsen. Barnes, Beardsley now up against the fullback. Pearce, Barnes, and they're climbing over him a bit there. Let's say so far the referee's been pretty firm and very fair. England getting their share of free kicks. Chris Waddle's just trotting across the pitch to have a say in this one. And Terry Butcher, despite the blow on the head, has come forward with Neil Webb. Barnes and Lineker are further in. And Butcher almost got to it. Webb just behind it. Stevens. McMahon. Lineker. Is that going to be a corner? No. Saved by Larsson. Half an hour gone then, here in Stockholm. Sweden 0, England 0. But on the play we've seen, England certainly having their fair share. Waddle. And again. Now he's taken them on. He's got past the fullback, and there are 3 players well forward. Webb's in the middle here. Steve McMahon was holding the midfield position as Neil Webb went forward, and indeed Webb has stayed on the edge of the penalty area as Gary Stevens prepares to take the throw. Beardsley. Stevens again. Beardsley again. And Webb's up there still. And this time he's been penalised. Trevor.
Well, Chris Waddle and John Barnes trying to get down the flanks. Chris Waddle had a slight opening down the right, and when he does play down that flank, he has a tendency sometimes then to come in on his favourite left foot, where perhaps just keeping it out wide and trying to get to the byline and getting the cross would have been a better option. But at the moment, Beardsley and Lineker also finding it difficult to get to and hold the play up, and really at the moment it's a bit of a stalemate.
Good solid header there by Butcher, which suggests he's not suffering from the injury too badly. And that's Hussein pulled up for a foul on Lineker. Free kick to England. So Terry leading the side with typical determination after that blow following the collision. Here's Barnes. Pearce. And a free kick to Sweden this time against Pearce. Swedes who haven't been in the World Cup finals since 1978 when they were in Argentina. Would dearly love to get there again, and there is of course the possibility that both these countries can qualify. But more of the mathematics later. It's 0-0 here in Sweden with 33 minutes gone in the first half. Gary Stevens for England. Young for Sweden. Joachim Nielsen. Walker. Free kick, Lineker, knocked over by Peter Larsson. And again, Neil Webb takes the chance to move up. Standing on the far side, this is Waddle. Tries to get Beardsley in. And England continue to press with plenty of possession. Question of whether we can penetrate. Waddle, Butcher's move forward now. Walker, Beardsley, couldn't make anything of it. That's 10, having a good old battle with McMahon. Butcher to Stevens. That's Ingerson with Waddle. If anything, England have had more of the play so far. They were intending to take the game to Sweden, and it would appear to be the pattern. But so far, nothing to show for it, with nearly 35 minutes gone. Sweden, as yet, haven't made a goal-scoring opportunity. Didn't make many at Wembley, if my memory serves me right. England had the chances that night, but couldn't put them away. Here's Pearce. McMahon. Joachim Nielsen got a foot in. This is Ingerson. Gets away from McMahon, and he goes chasing the ball. Roland Nielsen. Butcher. Ingerson got taken there by McMahon when the ball had just gone. It's a free kick to Sweden. Glenn Hussein and Roger Young again making their way forward from the back. It'll be Jonas Ten to float it in. Jung's up there. Here's Enquist. 10. Roland Nielsen. Oh, what a back heel by Glenn Hussein. This is Joachim Nielsen. Well, Steve McMahon protesting his innocence, but the referee has given Sweden the free kick right on the edge of the area. This could be very dangerous. With 3 players to come in on it. Ekstrom, Jung and Hussein all waiting. Ten curls it and safely over.
Well, turn jogging back, and that's a bit optimistic to expect to beat Peter Schulten from there, and the players who moved up for the cross weren't too impressed as they jogged back and let him know what they think. Sweden, though, really, I think are very aware deep down that if both sides draw here, probably both sides will get through as first and second in this particular group, and at the moment, considering they're the home side, they're playing pretty defensively themselves, not pushing men forward. Ingerson, who started off those first 10 minutes joining the front two, hasn't sort of done much recently, and it's pretty cancelling each other out in midfield.
Des Walker doing some work there at the heart of the England defence. We've been playing for 37 minutes here in Stockholm. If you've joined the match late, it's 0-0, but England have had a generous share of the play. Just been pushed back this last couple of minutes, maybe. This is Gary Stevens. Beardsley coming short, followed by Larsson. Forward by Walker, header by Jung. Stevens, Waddle. Oh, good play by Chris Waddle, tripped by Joachim Nielsen. Just when he threatened to do some damage inside. So Waddle waiting for Butcher to make his way up to the edge of the area. Don't think the referee's happy with the position of the ball at the moment. Here's Butcher.
Blood-spattered shirt as he jogs back. Couldn't quite get over the ball there. I was watching Ravelli in training yesterday, and one of the features of his play is like a lot of continental goalkeepers. He was just chatting to the referee. He knocks the ball out. He never actually holds on to it, and all shots that were raining in on the practice ground, they just kept rebounding off him. And if they can just follow these occasional sorties up, there could be a chance for Gary Lineker or Peter Beardsley.
Yes, actually, those goals that they conceded against France reflected that the goalkeeper doesn't hold on to everything by any means. Glenn Hussein's running repairs there have held the game up here at the moment. It's 39 minutes on the watch. No score. Ingerson for Sweden. Oh, it was a nice 1-2 between Ingerson and Ten. Really good football by the Swedes. He's got Enquist to his right, and the 2 strikers are waiting in the middle. Ekstrom and Magnusson, and here comes Magnusson and Gary Stevens having to take it away from him. It's a corner. Well, now a real question here for England on defending at corners. Hussein came in, and that's the danger. He really is good at timing those runs, something that might help Liverpool this season, I would imagine. And he met that with a firm header on the 40-minute mark in an attempt to put his side in front. It's been a first half of few scoring opportunities. Neither defence prized open properly. Perhaps the cleanest breakthrough was in the second minute when McMahon got Lineker in a gap between two of the Swedish defenders, but they managed to shut him off with a bit of cover from fullback. And a tight match was anticipated, and that's exactly what we've got so far, with 4 minutes left in the first half. Magnussen's up there. Oof, the header went behind Johnny Ekstrom. Fortunately for England, it was a good flick on by the number 11. Fortunately, I'm pleased to report so far it's all quiet in the crowd. Peter Larsson. Well played. Now Waddle. Neil Webb's in a good position here. And he's seen John Barnes on the left. Barnes up against Joachim Nielsen at the moment with no cover. Lineker's there! Oh, great save by Ravelli. Beardsley plays it back against the Barnes. The flag's up now, and the referee is pointing for a corner. That's a fine reflex save by the goalkeeper from Gary Lineker's header. This was a really good effort and splendid goalkeeping by Ravelli. Corner though to England, the heat's still on. And Butcher's there, and here comes Ravelli again, and this time Gary Lineker is penalised. Well, we thought we were in front there, Trevor, for a second.
It was a magnificent save, and first time really John Barnes has got the service out wide early and didn't actually, he had to go past his man. He clipped in an early cross. Gary Lineker ran on and hung very well in the air, headed it down, and Ravelli actually changed direction a bit. He was falling backwards and stuck out his right hand and managed to push it away rather than actually push it back out where Gary Lineker would have pounced on the rebound. It's certainly the nearest we've had to a goal.
So Lineker deprived of what would have been his 30th goal for England, and when he gets that, he goes level with Nat Lofthouse and Tom Finney, two great names of the past, as the third leading scorer in England's history, behind Bobby Charlton and Jimmy Greaves. So that little landmark is still to come because of Thomas Ravelli's save. 10 for Sweden, looks for extra. Roland Nielsen. Peter Larsson. Nice build-up this. Larsson again. Roland Nielsen. It's aimed at Mats Magnussen. And nicely tidied up there by McMahon, who's had a busy and effective first half in the England midfield, I would say. Interested to hear what the man he's standing in for feels about that back in London. But we've got just about a minute left in the first half. It's Sweden 0, England 0. And Peter Larsson clearing for Sweden. Well, what a good time this would be to score, and what a pity that header didn't go in from an England point of view. McMahon, Stevens. Walker. What are your impressions overall of the half, Trevor?
Well, it's a half that perhaps isn't high on entertainment, but is very high on tension, and both sides conscious that they don't want to fall behind, and really at that stage, I think Terry Butcher explained he doesn't want to do anything silly with a minute to go before half-time, but you know, chances are going to be few and far between, and really Gary Lineker very unlucky with that header, and I think that's going to be how the match progresses, with chances at a premium.
Right on half-time now, it's Sweden on the attack. Roland Nielsen supporting here, and so too was Enquist. That's dangerous, and Butcher's in there, and Chilton makes a fine save, and Walker clears. Really close, and Peter Shilton this time responds. Joachim Nielsen and Enquist had the shot, and very, very near for Sweden in stoppage time at the end of the first half. Magnussen. Danger's not over. Ingerson's in there. Ekstrom's in there. Joachim Nielsen. So the most excitement in the whole half coming in the last couple of minutes. Lineker close for England with a header, brilliantly saved, and then Shilton likewise responding to keep out that shot from Enquist. But it remains 0-0. And that's Beardsley back to Webb. Oh, didn't find McMahon, and this is the time being added on now for the Terry Butcher injury, by the way, which has left him with a lot of blood around his forehead. This is Joachim Nielsen, and now it's Young, and Hussein's made his way forward. Magnussen comes in as well. Sweden buzzing a bit now. Enquist, 10. Strong finish to the half by the Swedes, Trevor.
Well, nearly tempted Providence there, by suggesting that chances are at a premium. And within 30 seconds, Sweden nearly took the lead. Peter Shilton did very well because it came through an English defender as well. Reacted excellently, and both goalkeepers made telling saves at critical time just before the half-time break.
Well, how often have we been grateful to Peter Shilton? 110 caps with tonight. His next landmark, the 119 that were achieved by Pat Jennings, the world record. But Shilton, on that form, still our number one, and hopefully looking towards the World Cup in Italy with his 40th birthday only 12 days away now. Referees played over 2 minutes of stoppage time because of the lengthy attention to Terry Butcher, but the half ends with a close shave at either end, some excellent goalkeeping, but no score, and England, who probably had more of the game than Sweden, go off at half-time with the situation very much the way we expected. A close match, not much space, not many chances, but what excitement there was came right at the end. The half-time score here in Stockholm, Sweden 0, England 0.
Yes, both goalkeepers doing their stuff right at the end there. Brian, what did you make of that first half?
Well, Sweden are making it really difficult for us to make it an entertaining game, because they're playing just the same way as that they played at Wembley. I mean, everybody's dropping back to within like 15 yards of the halfway line, and they're closing all the space for our forwards, for Barnsley and Chris Waddle, Peter and Gary. They're finding it difficult to get space. I mean, it's up to our back four, I think, to get the ball, play a bit of possession stuff along, and then when Sweden come out at us, then we play the ball forward and give Chris and Barnsley and them a bit more space to play in.
Terry, were you expecting a bit more from Sweden, that they would offer a little more in attack?
I think they've been concerned about England, and I think that they're particularly the wide midfield players, they're withdrawing back to stop our wide players, Barnes and Waddle. I think they look particularly worried about those. But like Brian says, they're just content to stay, and they want to hit us on the break. They're playing like they're playing an away game.
Jimmy?
And they're content with that.
Yeah, obviously they respect England, you know, rather more maybe than we have done in the past, and as a result of that, I think they've treated us with as if we are world champions, which will help. I mean, good half. I feel much better now than I did at the start of the game.
We're delighted to hear it.
I know you like people to
now.
feel comfortable on the front.
Of course, of course. Well, we'll look at some of those incidents in just a moment. But first, let's put you in the picture as far as World Cup qualification is concerned worldwide.
9 months and counting to World Cup 1990. Come Christmas, we'll know the qualifiers and who plays whom and where. Already a dozen of Italy's finest stadia have been spruced up for the big occasion. And a couple of dozen of Italy's finest players are being polished to the expected standards. Defensively, Italy will be tight. They always are. In attack, much will depend on Gianluca Vialli.
Vialli, that's a good turn by Vialli. Can he make it this time? Goal! Vialli for Italy!
Italy's problem will be the expectation of their fans, but most countries are still striving to qualify. In Europe, Group 1 is now a straight fight between Romania and Denmark. The Danes went dormant for a while, but woke up to score 7 against Greece. This one from Kent Nielsen, now of Aston Villa. And this one from Flemming Poulsen. 2 teams qualify from the 5-nation groups. In this one, the Soviet Union are favourites, with Austria hoping to squeeze Turkey out of second place. The Soviets, in white here, took pole position by beating Austria. Tonight they meet again, but now the venue is Vienna. 2 of Europe's top dogs, Holland and West Germany, are in a 4-team group. The winners will be OK, and there's a backdoor route which could save the runners-up, but there are no guarantees. So Holland, champions of Europe, will need to sustain the kind of form that won this trophy. Franz Beckenbauer has inspired West Germany as player and manager. Could his role in Italy be merely as a spectator? In even greater danger is another illustrious European, Michel Platini, now manager of France. Last night, the French drew 1-1 with Norway. However Scotland fare in Yugoslavia tonight, they shouldn't now fall from the platform they've built.
Boris Johnson surely will put it away. He has.
In Group 6, Spain and Hungary still have to play each other twice, which can only be good news for the Republic of Ireland. Surprise packets in Europe. Jack Charlton's team blossomed in the spring. An own goal beat Spain. A month later came Malta.
Sheedy takes the corner, and Moran's there! And Kevin Moran has added the second.
And a week after that came Hungary.
Staunton, and that's found its way through to Sheedy. Staunton again, well played by the full-back. Staunton's cross, McGrath, it's there!
Tonight, Hungary are in Belfast, with Northern Ireland's 3rd successive trip to the finals in jeopardy. In Group 7, 2 forthcoming games between Portugal and Czechoslovakia should decide the runners-up. Favourites to come top will be Belgium if they beat Portugal tonight in Brussels, where they've already defeated the Czechs. Next month's playoffs to produce 2 Asian qualifiers offer China as potential first-time finalists, plus the first ever meeting of the 2 Koreas. Remember the North Koreans of '66.
Now Cook, he must score, he must score!
And the South Koreans of '86.
As he worked a shooting chance, oh he has!
Africa is down to the last 4. Algeria will be pushing hard. Remember how they frightened the European establishment in 1982.
Oh, it's a goal, Balumi!
Balumi may well be back next year, but Hugo Sanchez won't. Mexico have been banned by FIFA for using ineligible players in another competition. So now Costa Rica should come through to represent Central and North America, and they could well be joined by a team they've already beaten and lost to in their group, the United States, here in white. Israel get put in the Oceania group for political reasons, and this time they finished top. This goal in Australia clinched it for them. But they still have to meet the winners of South America's Group 2, probably Colombia, with the formidable skills of Valderrama. But as the table shows, Paraguay are by no means out of the reckoning. Bolivia lead Group 1, but their remaining games are both away, one in Uruguay, where they'll be pushed to repeat the win Ruben Sosa's goal gave them at home last Sunday. Brazil started their final game in Group 3 on Sunday, needing only a draw with Chile. Careca put Brazil ahead.